It's not often that I have to come on this channel and defend myself, but recently I have been accused of over-processing my images. This is outrageous, it's outlandish, I do not appreciate these comments, all these feedbacks. How dare you? How dare you accuse me of over-processing my images? Now, to defend myself and prove myself right, we're gonna open Lightroom here on the computer and we're gonna look at the images for which I have been accused. Now, this is absolute, oh, sorry, we're not on the right page here. Right, previous import, there we go. Whew. Now, in all seriousness, I may have overprocessed the images in my last video. Now, I haven't actually, genuinely, haven't looked at the images since posting the video last week. And let me explain myself, and maybe you can learn a thing or two, because one of the biggest problems that I see in landscape photography, right, is the overprocessing of compositions. I think it comes about in two ways. One is you're trying to polish a turd. We're all guilty of this. You spend lots of energy and money and time investing in a photo shoot. You go out for an evening or a weekend and travel a long way and put in a lot of effort, and you're just not rewarded. But you try and rescue it. So you try and rescue it by overprocessing it. Every single one of us has done this. You can't deny it. Everyone's done it, right? And the other one is that you get conditions which are fantastic and you try and amplify what you saw and what you witnessed, then that can result in an overprocessed image. And for me, more often than not, my general rule when it comes to processing is measure twice, cut once, right? Process twice. Do an initial process, and then it's so important, so important. Go, have a break, maybe even if it's just 10 minutes, right? Whatever, adjust your eyes, go and look at something else. Ideally, leave it a day or two. Come back and then re-look at the images, which I'm gonna do now. They're here on my screen. Obviously just a small thumbnail, so it's gonna be interesting to look at these. And then what you'll find is when looking at images with fresh eyes, you see, I've cranked that a bit too much or not a bit more. You see things that you don't normally see in your first round of processing. Now, if you watched last week's video, which feature these over-processed images, we'll see about that. You'll notice that, I think it was about the 5-minute mark, there was a terrible spike in volume. Like, I pride myself on my audio, right? There's nothing worse than watching a YouTube video where somebody's speaking like this and then some music comes on and the music goes really loud and it's like, oh, what are you doing? Sort your levels out. Anyway, well, yeah, there was this huge spike in volume where it just, because it was a rushed edit. I went out, I shot the video, I came home, I edited the video at the same time as processing the images, put it all together and uploaded it in like one session. You should never do that. Edit the images separately, take your time. Edit the videos separately, take your time. That's how you produce good quality content. Yeah, not last week, I was rushing and it shows with an audio mistake and alleged overprocessing images. Now, this is why I love the YouTube comment section. It's the YouTube comments that alerted me to this terrible mistake with the audio, my apologies, and it's the YouTube comments that alerted me to the overprocessed image. Let's have a look. So this is the first image, fresh eye. Honestly, swear to God, I haven't looked at these images since basically shooting them, processing them, posting the video. It all happened in like an afternoon. Right, let's have a look here. We'll go lights out. Yeah. Okay, I don't think, this is image number 1, I don't think this one's overprocessed. It was dramatic, it was stormy, the sky was genuinely like that. I'm not seeing any artifacts or anything that jumps out to me as being, oh no, you've cranked that too much. The color's fine, the textures are good, the sand is nice and smooth and soft. The sky is dramatic yet not bitty. That's how I like to describe overprocessed. You know, when you have too much noise or too much sharpness, it's bitty. You know, it looks crunchy. None of that. Great. That's not the image in question then, I believe. Oopsie daisy. Okay, this image, that is funny. This one's not overprocessed. Didn't even bother processing this one because it was a disaster because we got rain on the lens. Now this one's interesting. Let's go into the develop settings and have a look what I did here. I'll just hide this. You can see by my develop module here on the right-hand side, although I have pushed the contrast, which is interesting because it's such a low contrast scene, and that's why I like it, because it's low contrast. So why would I introduce contrast when the qualities of the image are low contrast? Well, I'm not sure. Get rid of the contrast. Yeah, you can see it just looks a little bit too washed out without that contrast. Bring the contrast back, and it just elevates it, I think. What about masking? Got one mask here. I've brought the exposure down by 0.15 stops. Yeah, so generally speaking, this one, aside from quite high contrast, has not been processed hardly at all. A touch of dehighs might, gone Australian, lifted the shadows a bit. But all in all, I'd say this has been handled. And that's the thing with processing. In an ideal world, processing should be just delicate, nothing too much. I think when you start to crank things too much, then you fall into the realms of over-processing, which I think is a real sign of a bad inexperienced photographer. Like when I see an image that could be a bit boring, perhaps, or an image that is subjectively nice, maybe it's not to everyone's taste or whatever, I don't think to myself that photographer doesn't have much experience. I just think, oh, their tastes are different than mine. But when I see an image that's cranked to the high heavens, yeah, I tend to think, not, there's I think it's the biggest sign of a bad, I'm going to say it. I think over-processing is the biggest sign of a bad photographer. But the good news is, it's easily fixed, very easily fixed, and lessons are learned quickly, and everyone's guilty of it, including, apparently, according to you guys in the comments, me. Right, we're moving on now to the next image, which, looking at the thumbnail down here, could possibly be over-processed. Okay. I don't know. Let's go lights out. It was a very dramatic sky. The contrast is increased because we have light on the foreground. But the sky, in all honesty, does look a little bit HDR, 2005 HDR. Admittedly. I think I'd probably try to pull out the detail. Looking at this now for the second time, a week later, I would probably try and pull that back a bit. But let's have a look. Maybe sometimes images can look over-processed and they're not. They're just, conditions were that dramatic. So looking at the panel on the right-hand side, well, I've done nothing. Okay, I've increased the saturation of the blues and the aquas. That will be for up here in the sky. I really love these. When you get storm clouds and you get these deep blues, love that. So I've obviously tried to enhance that. But yeah, nothing else really. But I do a lot of my processing locally, which means I use masks. More control. Let's have a look. Okay, we've got two masks. Let's have a look. First one, foreground. Okay, contrast. Lifted the whites, that gives it further contrast to emphasize the sunlight on the sky. Sorry, not the sky, the sand. Touch of texture and clarity to try and, well, bring out the texture and clarity of the sand and these shapes. But the sand looks fine to me. The problem child here is the sky. Have I over-processed the sky and can I correct it? So, wow, okay. I've pulled the shadows back 99%. It's never a good sign. When one of these sliders hits the end, you've probably gone too far. So let's reduce all of this. There we go. It's subtle. You might not see it on the YouTube screen recording, but it's subtle, and immediately it looks softer. It looks more natural. It looks a bit more like candy floss than concrete. Yeah, so this is what I would have done this. I would have done this had I given myself time to go away and come back. I swear to God, it's the best lesson you can take. As a photographer, the best piece of advice for processing your images is take a break. You know what's funny? And I really appreciate people leaving comments Of course, I'm joking when I say that people are accusing me of stuff. Just thought I'd make for a more interesting, humorous video. Yeah, what I really like is that people apologize. Like, I'm really sorry, Tom, and I hate to say this, but it's just over. I'm so sorry, but it's overprocessed. Like, just say it, man. I love the feedback and the criticism. This YouTube channel in the comments section keeps me on the straight and narrow. If I'm making rubbish videos like this one, you can let me know. If I'm overprocessing my images and messing up my audio, I need that feedback. Like, I can't live in this loop of praise, you know, like where everyone, oh, you're so good. No, don't tell me I'm good. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. That is what helps the most. Constructively, don't be horrible. I know all of that. Anyway, here we go. Oh, I'm sorry, so sorry, guys. Before we get onto this image, and I'm sorry, just looking at it now, it's definitely overprocessed. I just want to thank the sponsor. This video does have a sponsor, which is Squarespace. Now, Squarespace is a place where you can build your own website, right? I think everyone knows that. But the great thing about Squarespace is you don't need any experience to build a very professional looking website. Like, you can do it with you don't have to be good at computers. You can just log on to Squarespace, use their drag and drop system very intuitively, and you can create a professional looking website in no time at all. They've got fantastic templates and designs. They've got AI to help you out along the way. And I'm not even joking. If you're focused and you've got all of your media and your copy ready to go, you can go from zero to full working website, domain, online shop, everything in, I don't know, two days, say. Sit down, 2 days, bang. So over a weekend, you can have your own website, which is great for photographers out there to showcase your images. Maybe not one's as heavily processed as this, but still. So if you fancy giving that a go, go to squarespace.com/Heaton and give it a free try. And if you like your free trial, use the offer code Heaton for 10% off your first purchase. Okay. Now, with this image, conditions were made. This was incredible, right? I was very excited when I photographed this, and I got home and I went to bed and then woke up the next morning and I did the edit, right? I was probably still too excited. It's good to give yourself a bit of time to distance yourself from that feeling of elation. Again, it sounds counterintuitive, but it's never great to process images immediately. I mean, sometimes it is, to be honest, if you know what you're doing and you're aware of your foibles, like this. But generally speaking, a bit of time helps a lot. Otherwise, you end up with vomit on a page. Now, thank God you guys pointed this out. Let's look, what are the telltale signs that this image is overprocessed? Because I can tell you now, just looking at this, there are some. One is there's too much contrast. The scene wasn't this contrasty. It was more candy floss than concrete. I've already said that. This is too harsh. I mean, it's nice to give a bit of punch and drama, but it's just too much. Now, I suspect, let me see, because I'm looking at this now. If I zoom in, yeah, there's like the fall off, the tonality, the tonal shift from these like oranges and reds in the rainbow. Even though this is a 16-bit RAW file from a Hasselblad, thank you very much, that fall off is dead. Like, the transition's too hard. From color, from one tone to the next tone, it's too much. There's a hard stop. Again, a telltale sign that you've cranked things too much. So I think we can fix this. Oh God, I've just looked at the right-hand panel. Okay, so we've boosted the clarity too much. Vibrance to saturation, it's probably all right. Maybe we'll pull those back a bit. Contrast has also been cranked. Not done anything with the individual colors. Let's have a look at my masks. We've got a mask at the bottom, which is whites up. That's fine, I think. I always like to lift the whites. It's a good way of adding contrast and luminosity without washing out the image. So rather than doing a general exposure lift or whatever, just whites, it's a bit better. Okay, so yeah, it's fine. What about this mask? Okay, more contrast. I've already cranked the contrast on the main panel. Oh, I've reduced the blacks as well. It looks to me, the main culprits of this image are too much contrast and probably the saturation, because that's where you lose that tonality. That's where you lose the lovely fall, the lovely transition between tones and colors. So we can fix this, ladies and gentlemen. We can fix it. Soak it up. This is the before, the overprocessed image. Let's start with the mask. Right, so the foreground's fine. We'll work on the sky. Contrast, does it need contrast? I don't think it does. Yeah, we've got rid of the contrast. The whites and the blacks. Again, the blacks are too heavy. That's one of the problems with this image, is the contrast, the deep blacks. It's too much. It wasn't like that in real life. You know, and it's okay. I think it's okay to enhance what you saw in real life, but it's too much. That's the sky sorted out. So we'll close that mask. Exposure, I've pulled it back. I do like a darker image. It naturally adds drama. When I say darker, I mean, like, you know, if you get your standard exposure, which is this, it's too bright. Okay, even though technically speaking, it's correct when you look at the histogram, it's fine. You could argue a AI computer would probably tell you this is a perfectly exposed image. But to the eye, yeah. So I am going to pull back the exposure. Half a stop. There we go. Now the contrast is still quite high at plus 39. I still want contrast. I still like, you know, I still want drama and color. I just had too much. So I'm just pulling it back to 21. Whites, I like to lift my whites in an image, I'll be honest. It brightens the image. It makes it pop. But you can see if I lift the whites too much, look at that rainbow. Can you see that rainbow? Let's zoom in. Watch. I'll roll the white. See? The rainbow's doing this. It's expanding and closing as we lose that smooth transition between the colours. Look, too much. So I'm pulling back my whites ever so slightly. There we go. Okay. These are little things you've got to look out for. These are stuff that when you make a print, other photographers go in and say, oh, he's cranked it too much. You know when you get a halo around a hard object. Right. It's still a bit dark though. The sky was brighter than that. It's difficult. If I lift the brightness too much, you lose the rainbow. But I want the brightness. All right, let me see what I can do. Let's go into masks, right? And I'm going to create a luminance range, and I'm going to try and target the clouds at the top. Then we'll soften it off. And then we're going to intersect mask with a brush. Okay. And now we're going to try and brush over. Yeah, it's not the best mask if I'm honest. I'm finding it difficult to target these clouds that are catching the sunset light. But you know, if we're subtle enough with our changes, I think we can make this look okay without it being over-processed. I think that over-processing was too much colour and too many deep shadows. Right. Now I'm going to lift the whites, but they won't affect the rainbow. Yeah, it's tiny, very subtle, very subtle. And I'm just going to create a linear gradient. Now it's kind of counterintuitive because I'm actually going to darken down the top of it. Am I over-processing my image again? No, it's just a tiny bit. Right, clarity. Let's address the clarity. Again, you go too far in your clarity, you create problems. You create halos and poor fall off between tones. I think actually I made a mistake going with the clarity. This should feel soft. It was a beautifully soft, tasteful evening. We weren't shooting into the sun was behind us. The vibrance was low. All right. Already it's still feeling quite natural. It's still a bit dark, which is okay. I don't mind the darkness. I think the contrast was the problem. Now, I think one of the biggest changes I might be able to do here is the white balance. This looks, I don't know, it felt more pink. This looks a bit orange. So if I actually cool it down, oh yeah. There, I've just cooled it down a touch. And it's got a bit pink, bit magenta, which I quite like. A lot of people are scared of magenta for some reason. I love a magenta image. That's better. That's done. There you go. So, my biggest takeaway from this is just take the time. A couple of days, a couple of hours, even just a few minutes between processing, and then go back for a second look. Honestly, it will improve your photography beyond anything. You know, it will make your images so much better. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're interested, my calendar full of panoramic images, sadly not this one, none of which are overprocessed, is available to pre-order. I am running late this year. Normally by now all the pre-orders would have gone out, but I have a big project that I've been working on all summer. It's been eating up all of my time. You might have noticed a few changes on my channel, something missing, key thing missing from my channel. Don't want to talk about it too much because it hurts me. It's a sad thing. But it's also exciting, you know, with one door closing, another door opens. And in 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, you're going to see what that door is. Right, cheers guys. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.